Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Last by Katherine Applegate. This is the first book in the Endling series. If you guys don't know, Katherine Applegate is the same author who wrote The One and Only Ivan, I believe is the name of that book. Haven't read that one yet, but that one won a ton of awards and seems to be very popular. I wanted to pick up this one because I really loved the cover. Today, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it. If you guys don't know, The Last follows this character named Bix. At the beginning of the book, Bix is traveling with her pack. She's a Dairn, so she's like a dog marsupial hybrid. Anyway, she's traveling with her family and her small grouping of Dairns, and at the beginning of the book, all of them are killed. So she thinks that she may be the very last Dairn, which in this world, the last of a species is called the Endling, which I think that's what they're called in real life. This is set in a fantasy world where there are 6 great ruling species. They all have the ability to speak and think and have communities and everything like that. What makes these better, or above the other species that are intelligent in this world, like a Wabik, is that the 6 great ones are able to do magic. There are humans, there are Dairns, which is what Bix is, there are Raptidons, which are like giant birds. There are Felivets, which are giant cats. Pteromonts, which I think are like beetle mantis hybrids. They're enormous. And then there are Nautites. I don't know how to pronounce that one. And those are water-dwelling people that have magic. And there's one emperor that kind of rules everything. That's the Murdano. When I was reading this book, I was a little confused on what the Murdano actually was, because it sometimes seems like it could be a race of being, and sometimes it seems like a singular person, and the Murdano is a singular person, and the Murdano rules this world. Bix is hoping that she is not the very last Dairn. She's hoping that there are Dairns somewhere else. So the book follows Bix as she's trying to survive and find other Dairns. That's basically it. As usual with my book reviews, I'm going to go through my pros, go through my cons, give you my rating, and be done. My first pro for this book is going to be that I really loved the cover. I think that it does a good job of setting up the tone for this book. Because Bix is the last of her kind, she is depressed about that, so it's kind of gloomy with sprinkles of humor, because I actually did laugh out loud while reading this. My next pro is that I really loved the world building of this book. I loved all of these different races. I thought it was really interesting and a good way to address things like racism in a middle grade book. Bix's people has been persecuted because they are able to immediately know if someone's lying or not. They're like living lie detectors. So people on the surface appreciated how the Dairns kept people honest, but behind the scenes people didn't like having to tell the truth all the time. They wanted to lie. So this also deals with a lot of lying and stuff like that. So I think that the messages that this had were really solid. With the world, I loved the scope of this. She sets it up so that it's a very narrow part of this world, but she sets it up in a way that it can be expanded further along. On the end pages is a map of the world, and so you can see everything that's going on, but she really only set up this part of the world. This isn't the whole world, we're just seeing a little snippet of it, so I thought that that was really smart, and her world building was really good. I also really enjoyed the characters. I loved Bix as the main character. She's really strong. She's gone through terrible things, but she's making the most of it, and she's not letting it get her down. She's making connections with all of these different people like Tobble and Kara and Gambler. Their motley crew was just a fantastic found family, and I loved how Gambler interacts with them, so I just really liked them as a group. At first, I was getting a lot of Wizard of Oz vibes, which was kind of cool. I don't know if this was actually meant to be like a Wizard of Oz very loose telling, because Bix just wants to find her home, and she's on the path to trying to find a new home and find where she belongs, and her companions all have something to learn as well. Tobble's trying to prove his courage. Kara is trying to find her heart. Not like physically find her heart, but have a bigger heart, put more love into the world kind of thing. So I was getting some serious Wizard of Oz vibes, and I was loving those. I don't think that it actually is supposed to be, but I thought it was. Something that I appreciated was this book kind of deals with have enemies and stuff like that pretty well. Like, the enemies are actually dangerous. The enemies can actually do damage and are trying to kill the main characters, and the main characters kill as well. So it's not this idealistic thing where the bad guy or whatever is trying to kill them and they're too honorable to not kill back, but in this, I like that they do. So I thought that that was just way more realistic, because if someone's trying to kill me, I'm not gonna just keep running away and not making sure that they can't keep coming after me. Another thing that I really enjoyed was the illustrations for each part. Let me find one of them. So at the beginning of each part, there's a big illustration in there, and I just thought that they were fantastic. One thing, though, that I wish had been included was there's never an illustration of Gambler. I don't know why, but I wanted one. So there's another one. I kind of touched on this before, but I really liked that it addresses racism and genocide, greed and lying. I thought that those were really well done in this book. And my last pro for this book is that I just really loved the adventure. I thought it was a really cool adventure story, and I think that it's just going to get better and better as the books go along. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of cons that I had. My first con for this was that I just feel like the Isle was a missed opportunity. There's one part they're going towards this Isle. It's at the very beginning of the book, so it's not a spoiler. And I thought that that was just going to be a bigger deal, but it wasn't. So I thought that that could have been done and expanded more, because this island of learning was really cool, and then we didn't really get to explore it all that much. But that's a super personal con. And one other thing that I just noticed was that the characters talk about eating each other all the time. Every single character talks about killing the other characters and eating them, and how this other character is their prey, and it was just like, what is going on? These are intelligent beings. Like, in my mind, I would never be able to go up to another intelligent species and be like, hey, I'm gonna eat you. Like, what? It was just kind of weird. When Bix meets Tobble, the first thing that Bix does is talk about how she eats Wabix. It was just like, what is going on? So I didn't understand the whole eating each other thing, but it's a small con. Other than that, I didn't really have too many things to complain about. So I ended up really enjoying this one. I gave the book 4 stars, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more from her in the future. So if you guys have any recommendations for the next book by Katherine Applegate that I should read, leave it down in the comments. So that's going to be my review on The Last by Katherine Applegate. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this book, what your thoughts on it were. Again, if you have any recommendations of where to read from Katherine next, let me know those down in the comments. Anything else you want me to know, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.